everyone, great to see you back on the Windsor family here. We bring you breaking news, fascinating stories, and little-known mysteries of the royal family. Make sure to like this video and subscribe so you won't miss any updates. Why was Queen Elizabeth II's coffin never opened? The reason, though deeply traditional, is also profoundly heartbreaking. When the late monarch's coffin was brought into Westminster Abbey, many noticed that it was tightly sealed, unlike the open-casket funerals often seen for public figures. But from the very moment her body was placed inside, it was decided that it would never be opened again. According to centuries-old royal tradition, British sovereigns are always interred in lead-lined coffins. The lead serves an important purpose. It prevents air and moisture from entering, effectively preserving the body for decades, sometimes even centuries. This practice dates back to the Victorian era, symbolizing not only preservation, but eternal dignity. Yet beyond the science, the closed casket also represents the royal family's deeply private way of mourning. For the House of Windsor, grief is not a spectacle, it is sacred. Even in death, the Queen was to remain composed, elegant, and untouchable, the embodiment of the monarchy itself. It was said that the coffin weighed nearly 600 pounds, made from solid English oak and lined with lead, the same type used for her husband Prince Philip, who now rests beside her in King George VI's Memorial Chapel at Windsor Castle. What few people know is that Elizabeth herself chose this coffin more than 30 years ago, long before her passing. She had it crafted by the same royal undertakers who prepared the coffins for her father and mother, ensuring that her final resting place would be a continuation of royal lineage rather than mere ceremony. Every detail of her funeral, from the route of the procession to the choice of hymns, had been meticulously approved by her. Even the large glass windows of the hearse carrying her coffin were designed according to her wishes, so that ordinary citizens could bid their last farewell as she passed through the streets. It was her final gesture of connection with her people, a monarch who understood that the crown existed because of the public's love. The sealing of the coffin also carried a symbolic meaning. It marked the final curtain for a woman who had spent more than 70 years living in the public eye. Once closed, it signified that Elizabeth the Queen had fulfilled her duty, while Elizabeth the woman could finally rest. Some royal insiders whispered that part of the reason for the strict sealing was to preserve her image. The Queen wanted the world to remember her not as frail or diminished, but as the serene figure in bright coats and pearls, smiling from balconies and gardens. To her, dignity was eternal. When the royal pallbearers lowered her coffin into the vault beneath St. George's Chapel, it was the last act of a life defined by service and restraint. And perhaps that is why her coffin was never opened, because the Queen had already given her people everything she could in life. There was nothing more to show, nothing more to prove. All that remained was silence, reverence, and the undying respect of a nation that will never forget her.